Brian Szytel is Managing Director and Partner of the Bahnsen Group, and he joins me now. Good to see you this morning, Brian. What is the focus for investors right now? Is it geopolitics or is it sort of corporate news? Help us get a sense of what's driving the markets.
I think it's both and those things. So there's, we're coming off now the third year in a row of 15+% gains in the S&P 500. And so there's a valuation story at play here that needs to be understood and respected. And then there's also, of course, things that have now transpired in Venezuela on the geopolitical side of things. So both of those things are important as we come into the next month or so in markets.
Talk to me a little about NVIDIA and Tesla. They were both down earlier. Obviously, we've had a lot of news and focus there because of the huge electronics consumer conference taking place out in Las Vegas right now. Are those headlines going to be sort of driving markets at the moment?
They do. Both of those names from a valuation perspective, when you look at broad indices, are on the higher end of things. And so when you look at 2026, I just don't believe it's going to be the same story as what we've seen over the last couple of years. And I do believe markets will continue to broaden out and some of the leadership will shift to some of the more, overvalued sectors like technology, like the names that you've just mentioned, into some of the more defensive and cyclical sectors, call it energy, perhaps even staples or healthcare. You also get a nice attractive dividend yield with those other sectors, and it's a better entry point. Tesla, NVIDIA, a lot of that is priced to perfection. And if you get any sort of slowdown, particularly on the NVIDIA case, in capital expenditure in the AI space, then that stock is going to be very sensitive to that.
We've got the jobs report on Friday. Is that sort of, in some ways, the big event that you're keeping an eye on?
It is, because I think this year you're going to have a tug of war between what is going on with the labor market and then what ultimately will get fueled into the economy with tax cuts and a lot of those refunds just hitting in Q1. And so there's going to be a supply side growth story coupled with what happens on monetary policy and who the next Fed chair will be, combined with labor. And so Friday's employment report continues to be very important. And remember, the U.S. government was shut down for 40 days. And so some of this data is now just coming online, and it's giving us a more fresh read into the employment picture.
As you say, that fresh read, that's what investors are waiting for. Brian Szytel from the Bahnsen Group, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.